Speaking about panel members, we go to our next one. That is Jordan Avery from the public entity of Saba. Saba Tourist Bureau in the Dutch Caribbean. Jordan will present Reef Rebirth, how conservationists are reviving Saba's coral ecosystems, showcasing the unique challenge and initiatives undertaken to restore coral reefs in Saba, vital for the island's nature-oriented tourism and economy. Jordan, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. So my name is Jordan Avery, and I'm a policy advisor, and I work for the government of Saba. As part of my role, I also work closely with the Saba Tourist Bureau on sustainable tourism endeavors as well. And I am a native of Saba, so I am deeply committed to its well-being and growth. And today, as he mentioned, I will be sharing about Reef Rebirth. Yeah. So before we get into Reef Rebirth, by show of hands, how many of you have heard of Saba before? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, allow me to take you on a journey. So Saba is a place in the Dutch Caribbean. It is known as the Unspoiled Queen. We are 5 square miles in size, and we have a population of around 2,000 people. Our main industries are ecotourism and fisheries, and with our sister islands, Bonaire and Sint Eustatius, we form the best island, so we are Dutch municipalities. We are home to the world's shortest commercial runway, and we are also home to the largest submerged marine atoll, which is called the Saba Bank. So also surrounding the coastal waters of Saba is the Saba Marine Park, and right now we are having issues dealing with our coral coverage. The decline of coral coverage is a widespread issue throughout the world, and especially in the marine park. So the marine park is an awe-inspiring sanctuary, and it was established in 1987. And like I said, it is very essential to Saba. On Saba, we depend on coral reefs, healthy coral reefs that are associated for our fisheries, for our tourism, and also other recreational activities. So to quantify this decrease in coral coverage, I have this figure here. So basically, studies were done in the 1990s to figure out how much coral coverage was left on our reefs, and they concluded that it was between 7.8 to 21.8% and reaching as high as 29% in certain areas. And then in 1999, they concluded that it was up to 18%, and by 2008, it had decreased to 10%. And then, unfortunately, in 2021, another study was done, and it was at 3 to 4% coral coverage left in our waters. So with only that amount left, it was imperative to address the issue of coral decline. Sorry, I'm also very nervous. So at the heart of the preservation and management for the Saba Marine Park is the Saba Conservation Foundation. They are a non-profit organization, and they have 10 staff members, and they basically work to safeguard the natural and cultural heritage of Saba, and they've done so for the past 35 years. In particular, they are spearheading a coral restoration project, and it deals with coral nurseries and just trying to increase our coral coverage in our waters once again. And I have some videos to show you some context. I don't know. Well, they're supposed to play, but they're not playing, but the videos would have shown you our coral nurseries. Yeah. So basically, the coral nurseries began in 2015, and a coral monitoring survey also began in 2015 as well. Yeah. So located at a depth of 12 meters, the coral fragments are hung on tree-like structures made from bamboo and PVC pipe that will facilitate their growth. And the goal is that they will grow and then it will later be outplanted back onto the reef. SCF has also set up mesocosms that will mimic the habitat of the coral reefs and allow them to grow as well. And the idea is that it will maintain the genetic diversity of the coral reefs inside the lab so that they can outplant them once the disease subsides. And they are also working with their sister island, Sint Eustatius, on a project called Healthy and Resilient Marine and Coastal Ecosystems through reforestation of Synthestaceous and Saba. And this project is funded by the European Union, and it focuses more on reducing erosion that causes the decline of coral reefs as well. And although there are two separate projects, the goal of increasing coral coverage remains the same. So for the key success factors for this story is the survival rates of the coral. That's basically the main key success factor. The coral in the coral nurseries outplanted experienced 100% fragment survival rate and 0% tissue loss within the first 70 days of the outplanting. Another key success factor was the capacity increase. So at the start of the project, the capacity was very low. We didn't have a research center or anything like that on our island, but coincidentally, it actually opened yesterday. So we now have a marine research center where applied research can be done. So that also is important for our coral coverage. SEF also works with many stakeholders, so we have programs with educational institutions as well, youth leadership programs. They also work with tourism stakeholders like dive operators, and they can go out to the coral reefs and actually clean the coral reefs, and they can see them as well, so it also adds to the tourism industry. We learned many valuable lessons, but I think the main lesson that we learned is that there were many financial pitfalls, and without the help of our interns and volunteers over the years, the project would not have been as successful as it is. As mentioned, the lack of capacity was also an issue, but with the introduction of the new Marine Research Lab, it will be helpful to the success of our project as well. And for our achievements, so as an island for 5 square miles, we've made some notable achievements. These are just a few. So as I mentioned, we have the first marine lab in the Northern Windward Islands. We have youth environment and leadership programs where basically students can go and learn about the reef conservation efforts. Saba was declared a hope spot by Mission Blue. We also scored 99 on the Ocean Health Index. We are one of 8 locations. And we are also executing a sea urchin rehabilitation project, and it kind of goes hand in hand because sea urchins have a symbiotic relationship with the coral reefs. So from this, we have some tips for other destinations. We also urge them to embrace the power of volunteer work and interns, because as mentioned, they were very helpful for us. We also believe that fostering collaboration with global stakeholders is also very important, and adapting to the changes in climate as well. So to update you on our current situation, right now we are at 60% survival rate with our coral nurseries. Unfortunately, we are at regional bleaching level 2 because of global warming, so our coral reefs are under stress and the water is too hot for them, so they can't really grow as they should. But on the bright side, because we have the research lab, we are also developing a continuous flow system. So the coral reefs will be grown inside the lab instead and then outplanted once the water temperature kind of goes down. We also have additional coral relocation trials, and we have additional coral nurseries as well. So thank you for listening, and our contact information can be seen here. And I hope to welcome you to Saba one day as well.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Yeah, wow, I didn't realize how fast the coral declined in Saba. It's amazing within such a short time. Well, back then it was already known how important the reef is, and it still declined that fast.